Welcome to the 60-day Startup Launch Blueprint Show, episode 84. We're here. We've made it. All right. We are heading towards the 100 episode milestone, and I'm very excited for that. I've been away for quite some time. I believe it's been around a couple of weeks or so. So what was happening was I was working on creating some gated content for you guys as well, so for us to take this to the next level. All right, and I'm happy to report that I have been able to do that. All right, so I was testing out Udemy or whatever you want to call it. All right, and I was trying out how the whole learning management system and all of that works. So I'm happy to report that yours truly is now a published instructor on Udemy. So that was a fun experience, and I plan to publish quite a few courses over the next coming months, and so that would help us, I think, take this to the next level. A matter of fact, I have 60-day startup launch blueprint, everything that we are talking about right now. I've got a bundle coming up. I am actually working on that, and what I'll also do is I'll drop in a link of my debut Udemy course, and that is Profitable App Development Blueprint for Startups. And the best part is it's completely free to enroll. Alright, so you guys can just dive in. I'm gonna have the link to that inserted in this episode, and that was quite different. I mean, when I record these podcast episodes, it's all freestyle, right? So there is nothing written down. There are no transcripts and all of that, and it's all free flowing. However, when it comes to creating that course and giving it that kind of structure, it was completely different. And plus, there was an element of there is a visual element to it as well. Plus, you have to understand about the audio and all of that, keeping in mind, for example, right now when I'm recording this episode, I'm in my parents' bedroom, right, and I've got the entire room for me. I've got this phone, and you guys are on speaker, and I'm doing this entire recording bit, so you might be hearing that gong in the back. That's the wall clock, and you might have also encountered traffic because we stay very close to the main road. Nonetheless, all of these things, you have to take care of that, so I had to get that. So what I did was I got a lavalier mic, which I should probably start using for the podcast as well. So I'm lazy that way, so let's say. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll put on that lavalier mic, and let's see how that works. So nonetheless, so what I've done is I've made myself a makeshift studio in my room. So what I do is I get behind the closet, and I open the doors, and I cover those doors with the sheets, so that way you have the entire noise cancellation bit going on, and I record the audio for the course. I'm gonna have the link included on that. You guys can enroll for free, alright, and check it out and let me know what you think. That was my very first attempt at building a gated content, so let me know what you guys think. So I did these slides, and I did that audio recording, and we played around with the audio editing and the video editing, and you have to structure it and restructure it. Plus, you have the entire review thing going on Udemy. So, matter of fact, I got things approved on the first attempt, and I'm happy to report that I've already got over 600 students, and the reach is phenomenal. So that content has reached over 89 countries, so to speak. So that was a pretty good experience, time well spent to learn new skill. As always, that is the name of the game, right? So regardless of whatever that is, I'm back. We are back to this, all right? We are back to this, and I'm working on a surprise for you guys as well, all right? So I'm going to keep you posted on that. So coming back to the 60-day startup launch blueprint, this is, matter of fact, season 2, and by the time we get to the 100th episode, this is going to be season 3. All right, so what we did was, coming back, if you're new to this, I'm going to give you a recap, and then I'm going to dive deep. All right, so as you can see, the more I'm doing this, I'm getting back to my old flow. So this is actually the third attempt on Anchor. So the first two attempts I had to delete and I had to take them back because it was as if I've lost my flow. But the thing is, the more you do this, the better you get at it. So nonetheless, so I'm going to give you guys a recap of what we've been doing. So what we've been talking about is the top 20 reasons why most startups have failed, and we've been analyzing the data by CB Insights. So reason number 8 was poor marketing, and that is where we decided to halt the countdown and dive deep into it. So I'm going to get into that, and it's been quite a few episodes. I'm not sure, over 50 episodes we've been talking about marketing. I mean, I can do 500 more. So yes, so without further ado, let's dive right in. The last episode that we did was on how to have unlimited marketing budget. Today, what we're going to talk about is the most dangerous number in your business or in your startup. Alright, so one of the most dangerous numbers in your business is 1. 1 makes your business brittle. 1 means having a single point of failure. What that means is you have a single point of dependency in any element of your business. So let me elaborate on that. So does your business only have one source of leads? Maybe you're only relying on paid advertisements, and paid advertisements too, you're only relying on one platform. It could either be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatever, Google Ads, whatever it is. Do you only have one major supplier, or you've only got one major customer? You rely on any one type of media, offer only one type of product. To borrow on a computer system term, what that means is having a single point of failure. If so, your business is brittle, and a small change in a circumstance outside your control could have a devastating effect. Alright, and we are living in these COVID times, so we understand what that means. Circumstances not being in our control is now the everyday reality, so it helps if situations which you could probably have in your control, you could pay more attention to that. So that's a very tough situation to end up in. Many businesses, they are hit hard every time Google alters its search algorithm. I know business owners, I've seen businesses vanish completely because Google changed its algorithm. They were so dependent on getting that free traffic from search that they never accounted for a time when it would vanish away or it was not free. So these businesses, they put all their marketing budget and effort on search engine optimization, and literally overnight found their one source of lead gone. Similarly, when Google started to make changes to the types of ads it wanted to show, advertisers who were paying Google enormous amount of money each month were also hit with the Google slap. Alright, that is, Google started to charge them 4, 5, sometimes even 10 times much as they previously did. Now this change, it forced advertisers to stop their campaigns and try to fix the issue or find another source of leads. In the meantime, their business virtually halted. Alright, fax broadcasting was once effectively outlawed in the United States, and many businesses that relied on that sole source of leads went broke. Alright, so some wise words of antiquity recommend that we build our horse on a rock mass instead of sand. So that way, when the storm inevitably comes, be rest assured that the storm will come, our house doesn't cave in. So the first step is to identify any scenarios in which the number 1 can potentially hurt you. Alright, being number 1 is not always good. Alright, so here are some examples. So what if the largest customer leaves you for a competitor? Or what if they go out of business? What if there is a change in the government legislation and the product you currently offer gets outlawed or regulated into oblivion? I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. What if that happens to your business? What if your main advertising strategy stops working? What if your advertising costs rise dramatically? What if your currently high search engine rankings disappear and pay-per-click rates, they rise sharply? What if your biggest supplier raises prices, has a shortage supply and goes out of business? What if you rely on email marketing and the government cracks down further on this strategy? All of these scenarios can and do happen. So if you rely on only one of anything, you are leaving yourself in an exposed position. What you are effectively building is the house laid on sand. So when the storm comes and the flood rise, the house is going to collapse. So what your startup needs, what your business needs, is to actively identify and eliminate single points of failure. So for example, if you're relying heavily on search engine optimization and you're solely relying on search SEO via Google search, what you could do is, keeping in mind the optimization strategy, you could start creating content for YouTube as well, because that is the second largest search engine. So if something were to happen to Google's search algorithm, the search algorithm on YouTube might not be impacted that way. Alternatively, you could also start looking at paid advertisements. For example, if you're only relying on social media or Facebook to generate leads, you could start experimenting with Google Ads. If you're only relying on Google Ads, you could start experimenting with Facebook, you could start experimenting with LinkedIn, so on and so forth. You could start cold email campaigns if that is not part of your arsenal. Alright, so what that means is, if you actively identify and eliminate single point of failures, if the laws change, if the advertising rates go up, or all of a sudden one specific strategy stops working as well as it used to, your business would still be safe. You'll be the one with the power because you are not reliant on one of anything. Alright? So Jim Rohn had an excellent philosophy on this matter. You've got to think winter in the summer. It's just too easy to get flaked out when the sky is blue and the clouds are fleecy. You've got to prepare for winter because it's coming. It always does. Alright? So in the meantime, even if none of these scenarios come to pass, at least you'll have built a more resilient and valuable business. So the common scenario I see when it comes to media strategy is that small businesses and startups have only one source of new business. What I advocate is having at least 5 different sources of new leads and customers. Furthermore, I would recommend that most of these 5 sources be in paid media. In other words, they cost you money to market yourself, and the reason paid media is so important is twofold. First, it's extremely reliable. Alright, it's like turning on the tap every time you need water, because if you're paying for the water, be rest assured you are going to get it. You're not relying on free organic traffic that can be switched on and off as per the algorithm of the platform. Alright, so if I pay a newspaper to run my ads, which I was doing extensively in my initial days of starting up, that was in 2013. I started with my own crowdsourcing startup, and we used to buy ads via newspapers. So we started off with Mumbai Mirror, then we migrated into the Core Times of India, then we got into Economic Times, then we got into Maharashtra Times, then we got into Sakad, and then we got into all of these regional newspaper ads, and people would call us up. Alright, the phones would ring. So if I pay the newspaper to run my ad, there is an extremely high probability that the ad will actually run. So if you're paying for something to happen, you can be rest assured that 99% of the time it will probably happen. Now it's much harder to get such reliant and consistent lead flow from free or seemingly free marketing methods such as word of mouth. Now, the second most important thing why I choose paid media every time is paid marketing forces you to focus on return on investment. Alright? If a paid marketing method is not working, what do? You cut that off. You don't waste further time or money on it. Whereas when free marketing method, which is nominally free, such as word of mouth, we tend to be less ruthless about it and often end up wasting huge amount of time because we didn't have to pay anything up front. You have to understand there is nothing free. Even if something is absolutely free, it does come with the opportunity cost associated with it. Alright? So you have to be careful when you do that analysis, and often that free opportunity cost transfers or translates into a tremendously, surprisingly large sums of money if you were to associate that with the value that you are getting. So the art and science of being able to consistently turn $1 of profit into paid advertising is through direct response marketing. Alright, so when you choose your media, it could be Google, it could be YouTube, it could be Facebook, it could be everything. I'm not talking about the likes and the engagement and all of that. I'm talking about cold hard leads. So what the fuck is a lead? Lead is anything that leads to a sale. Lead is someone who has raised his hand, expressed interest in your product or service, and paid you with their contact information first. So the first transaction that happens is the exchange of contact information. Alright, so you find a girl you are interested in. Alright, you want to get to know her, you want to ask her out for coffee. Whatever you want to do, what do? You start first with the exchange of the phone number. If it's not a phone number, you get her Instagram and you message her, you get a WhatsApp, whatever. WhatsApp is still phone number. Whatever you do, alright, there has to be exchange of contact details, and that is how it starts. Alright? Paid advertising has the potential to consistently provide you leads which would potentially lead to sales which would eventually grow your business. So what happens is, direct response marketing will make your business resilient and help you turn the tap on the rapid business growth. Scalability that is built into the startup model that can be delivered through paid media, provided you do that. I'm not talking about spamming, alright? I'm not talking about irrelevant targeting. There is the art and science of doing paid media, which we have spoken in all of our previous sessions. So if you're following this podcast episode, if you're following this blueprint, I'm sure whenever you get down to actually running your campaigns, you would not be making any of the rookie mistakes. Alright? So I'm going to leave you with an action item. And so what you have to do is you have to decide which paid media will you use for your target market, and you have to explain why. So do that. Alright, leave your responses. You can leave your responses on my Instagram handle, Digital Entrepreneur 24/7, or you can write to me, Umran at digitalentrepreneur247.com. Alright, so that was it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. And what I'll also do is the content that I was working on, the Profitable App Development Blueprint that got published on Udemy just 2 weeks back, I'm going to leave a link for that. Alright, so whatever you do, you guys want to check it out, you're free to enroll, check it out, leave a comment in the course, and if you like it, you can leave a review as well. That would really help out. Alright, so that's it. That was me, and I'll see you tomorrow, most likely than not. Alright, so this was, I think, 84th episode. Tomorrow will most likely be 85, and 15-16 days away from hitting that 100 milestones. Pretty good. Alright, so if you've stuck with me since day one, I want to thank you once again, and I'll see you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.